Holy Jimmy Neutron, boy genius, Batman! Tiki here, and I've been watching through each and every Batman-centric episode of the DC animated universe for the first time. And folks, we've crossed into a new plateau, the penultimate destination on our journey, if you will. Dragon, tell them why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But now, you see, Batman has become part of a bigger universe, and the mission goes on as we enter the greater DCAU.
Tonight we are talking about our very first Justice League Unlimited episode, Kid Stuff. All right, Dragon, I'm curious. How do you think I feel about this episode? Like, what are your expectations for my opinion on this?
I mean, I expect you to go a little wall-eyed at it, but ultimately, you look at it like an eye chart at first, but then ultimately, I think you'd come around on it. It's kind of my 2 cents on it.
Pretty much, yeah. When I first saw the thumbnail, I was like, "What the hell? Like this is the Justice League Unlimited episode we're starting with." Okay.
Well, okay, now just loop folks in here because a lot of people are probably wondering, wait a minute, why didn't you cover that one? So yes, Tiki has already seen, like, the only real Justice League Unlimited episode Tiki has seen is For the Man Who Has Everything, which was the big Superman's birthday episode adapting the Alan Moore comic, which featured, the big Batman scene in it, where, we saw what if, the Waynes had survived, or at least
right.
had survived. So again, Tiki had already seen it's not really a super heavy Batman episode, but again, that's like the dramatic one to start on, but then that leads us to kind of like an interesting way the JLU kind of starts, which is with some comedy stuff. So that kind of brings us to kid stuff.
So this might be one of my favorite episodes in all of the DC animated universe.
Really? You got a big kick out of this one, ultimately.
I really, really love this one. Yeah. I think it just kind of went above and beyond the premise. The Jimmy Neutron thing does floor me because it is, in essence, very similar to Jimmy Neutron. Dragon, if I had a code name for this episode, it would be King Joffrey, boy genius. Because, oh man, it's like, I know the king isn't, it's like, he's obviously not King Joffrey from Game of Thrones, but man, does he act like it. And, yeah, the boy genius, I mean, this is pretty much without the alien invasion. It's beat by beat, even including all the theme park stuff, like, essentially the first act of Jimmy Neutron, the movie.
Yeah. So, Loop, just so the folks know, because we flirted with covering this, we ultimately didn't, but it very much ultimately fed into this episode. So you did the research, you watched A Night of Shadows, which introduced Morgan.
I did, and I'm glad I did, because I would have been very confused about the first few minutes.
It was also the big payoff to what they set up in the New Adventures of Batman, where Batman's friends with Etrigan the Demon. So you kind of got a little bit more of that, and you got the payoff of it ultimately here. So what did you think of all that?
I got to admit, that episode I wasn't as much of a fan of, just because it was throwing like a lot of mythology at me. It was a little bit hard to keep track. I love the Martian Manhunter.
I know, that's what I really wanted to know. I want to know how you felt about the Martian Manhunter stuff.
I think the Martian Manhunter stuff is clearly like the highlight of that episode. I think everything else gets a little convoluted for me. But it is obvious. I think this is a much stronger use of the characters. But it's a good episode. It's a solid. It's not one of my favorite Justice League two-parters.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a lot of people's favorite two-parters of the first season, which again is ultimately, I think, why we didn't cover it as well. But it also, by the way, features the Magic Stone. I keep reminding folks, guys, Wonder Woman has come across the Magic Stone before, which again was the Philosopher's Stone thing was in that episode. Anyway.
All right. It also, Dragon, just to just kind of get into it with the just the unlimited of it all.
Yeah.
I really, really like noticeable improvement on the animation budget for sure. And I'm curious, Dragon, with the intro, do they have like a montage of different stuff within the episode?
Yeah, so unfortunately, They eventually, I believe, if memory serves, they realized the folly in this, and they got rid of that. Because originally, yeah, they did this thing where they thought it was going to be kind of cool, but then they realized this is like around the time where we became into the vernacular. Spoilers were very frowned upon.
Right, right.
Where it's like, oh yeah, we're kind of spoiling the episode with like little kind of little cuts to, like, I don't know, it was like an older TV practice that just kind of ultimately kind of fizzled out. And I don't remember which point in like which season of JLU they got rid of that, but it was I think
So
the
yeah,
first half,
the actual like animation is a little bit like lackluster just because it's like, oh, it's the episode we're about to watch. But I love the music. I really love the theme song, Dragon. It kicks ass.
Oh yeah, the music's great. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, the music's always been great. And honestly, through the DCAU period, the music. When has the music ever not been good?
Oh, I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm saying like out of the what is it now? 4 theme songs that I've encountered.
Let's see.
Because it's the original Batman the animated series. Did the new Batman Adventures have a new one?
Well, technically, you've had 3 Batman intros
Okay.
because you had New Adventures. Well, actually, I'm sorry. It's I don't want to just get it bogged down because you had the original animated series. You got Batman Robin Adventures. Then you have I don't think you ever saw I think I showed it to you once, the Batman Superman kind of double kind of intro that they had for New Adventures. So you had that, and then you had you saw
Justice League, of course.
Justice League, Static, and Superman. So that's 6.
See, I would say out of all those, like this might be like the least compelling as far as visuals go, but it might be my favorite as far as music goes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
A little bit of context here. So this was directed. We had a really good director on this that you've seen his work before, Tiki, and you're going to see his work going forward a lot. The great Joaquin dos Santos directed this. Now, Joaquin dos Santos, again, this is really where he made his bones for his animation career. He went on to do Avatar: Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, and is going to be. He's one of the 3 directors on Into the Spider-Verse Part 2.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, the sequel, the 2-part sequel that's coming out for Into the Spider-Verse.
right.
Enter the Spider-Verse. I think I don't know. There's so many extra.
I'm not a fan of how we have like part 2, and then like the part 2 is technically going to be part 1.
Yeah.
Anyway,
as long as if 90 Spider-Mans worked in there one way or another, if we do like an animated like Spider-Man coming into the fray, I'll forgive it for any of those faults. We'll see. Anyway, the writer on this is actually a blast.
I want MTV Spider-Man. That'd be the deep cut.
That's what I'm saying. They could go. They're going to do Japanese Spider-Man. It's possible. Anyway, so the writer on this was a blast from the past. It was Henry Gilroy who did the Nothing to Fear episode from Batman the Animated Series, the Scarecrow introduction with the iconic moment, and I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman. That was him.
Yeah.
Studio worked on this. So again, the animation quality, I'm so glad you brought that up because this is again, they really make their bones on this series, but they had done one thing before, Dr. Movie Limited. Dr. Movie Limited did Mystery of the Batwoman, the animated movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And that was like their testing ground for ultimately what would pay off and to be, I forget if they did the Zeta Project or not, but ultimately they went on to do pretty much almost all the Justice League Unlimited episodes, which is why the look's so refined. It has all the highlights and everything on it.
It just looks really fluid, especially in the action.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's the light. I don't know. It's the lighting and the shading just looks tremendously better. It's like so many times in other shows, like the worst examples I can give you, like Family Guy, they've added like the highlights. They're just like, why are we making this not so good material look so better now? And
Simpsons does that too.
That's what I'm saying. So it's ultimatly
like new Simpsons episodes look better than the movie, and I'm just like, why? Why the effort?
Yeah, exactly. So long. There's not a whole lot here. Just long story short. So we officially enter JLU, and of course in the transitioning point being we kind of threw the kitchens. They had no idea they were coming back to do more Justice League, which is why season 2 of Justice League ends with the star-crossed of it all, because they literally blew up the Watchtower. Like Batman almost dies. We have the Green Lantern Hawkgirl. The big relationship payoff. She flies off into the sunset, unsure what she's going to do next, because they thought, okay, well that's the most perfect ending we could have. Hey, you want to do more? What? Sure. What do we do? Well, let's just do all the superheroes. Let's basically do like the Unlimited.
Let's just basically Smash Brothers Ultimate this shit.
So essentially, that's the idea. You have like
everyone is here.
So the Justice League, basically, it's like, okay, let's do what we haven't done yet, and that's kind of the mantra for each season. Where the first part of Justice League Unlimited is, hey, let's let's up the roster to basically all 52 heroes. As many heroes as we can get in there, and we'll kind of find combinations of them. And in the beginning, they kind of baby stepped it, where you have like a few episodes like this, where you have the classic roster kind of teamed up for an adventure, and you throw in a new guy or something, or like kind of an oddball like Etrigan later on. Anyway, so the idea is like, okay, we got a lot of really cool stuff lined up for Justice League Unlimited, but you know what? Because we've gotten to this point, let's feel our oats a little bit here. Let's do some of the classic tropes that we avoided in Justice League, because now we can get away with it. We need some padding. We need to pad some episodes so we can get to the good Cadmus stuff and all the really good stuff we have saved up. So that's why the season opens with, okay, let's do some of our kitty episodes that we tried. Remember, it's like back in Batman the Animated Series, we had like, I've got Batman in my basement. It's like, these like the networky, like, we got to have kids in the episodes.
But I'm still a fan of I've got Batman in my
basement. I know. I'm just saying it's no, I'm not knocking. I'm just saying that's kind of the mentality. We have like kind of a mandated episode. Like, okay, Batman's teamed up with a kid for an episode.
Okay. Yeah. But you've got to admit, like, for a quote unquote kitty episode, like, goddamn, I think one of the reasons this episode stuck with me so much was, that honestly might be one of the all-time most dark endings that I've seen in one of these shows so far.
You're right. That there's a dark ending, and there's an emotional ending. So I love that we get them both. We'll get there. I'm gonna need the bat tissues when we get to that. We'll get there. So regardless, so the fact is, here's the fun thing that happened though. Okay, so they have like 3 comedy episodes in a row with Justice League Unlimited, and that was an accident. See, they were just going to sprinkle them through the season, but because of the production or something got gummed up in the works or how it aired or something, and basically it's like 3 comedy episodes in a row after that Superman episode that we covered, like that I showed you.
I mean, it's honestly maybe kind of like a good tone refresh in retrospect.
I mean, happy accident or what have you. It's just kind of funny that we have this and then what we're covering next, and then there was a Booster Gold episode, so it's kind of funny how it all kind of ended up there. But so that's pretty much it. And again, this is the second time we've ever seen. I think maybe last time we see Morgan Le Fay and her son Mordred. So that's again, and we already covered the Night of Shadows.
Well, I would hope it's the last time we see her son, because my God, what more do we need to say about that guy after this episode?
Exactly. So it's kind of nice that we. Oh, for sure. So again, it's kind of a nice kind of bookend to the whole Morgan Le Fay saga that we kind of had between the 2-parter and this. So it's all we kind of closed the loop on our big Magic-y story. Okay. So all that said, let's break it down. We're down to just half-hour episodes, folks. This should go a little quicker.
Yeah, that's nice.
All right, so Morgan Le Fay, like from the Arthurian mythology, same Morgan Le Fay. She's planning on making her spoiled son Mordred, who I guess in mythology, they never specified it here. I always assumed Jason Blood might have been his father, but in the Arthurian legend, the idea is that Mordred is like the begotten son of King Arthur, if I understand it right. Anyway, spoiled son. She intends to make him king. She finds
how he's playing on like a Game Boy.
Oh yeah. So this time her big scheme to make her son king is to give him to steal this very powerful amulet, the amulet of first magic, like some of the first sorcery done in the realm.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then the son he just instantly goes King Joffrey Dragon, just instant King Joffrey move.
Yep, he was impatient. He double crosses his mother and said, "We could give mommy the amulet so she'll make you king." Like, no, I can be king right now. I'll do it all myself. And he just
he's taking the "I just can't wait to be king" thing a little too literally.
Oh, for sure. So what he does here is
this is what would happen if Simba was really sociopathic.
so he.
I just can't wait to push my father off a cliff.
Yeah, that is sociopathic, yeah. Hey, Dad, what's that?
Oh, God. All right, I'm king now, everybody.
Not the wildebeest. Oh, the pain. Ow. Watch the hooves. Oh, okay, this is getting lethal. Okay, and quiet.
All right.
Anyway, so the graphic death of Mufasa aside here.
Yes. Your movie sucks finally put up his part 1 of his Lion King 2019 review, Dragon, and it is almost 3 hours long.
That's what it feels like watching the movie, I'd imagine.
It's a glorious review, though. He goes into so much detail. Anyways,
well, I can get back to the episode here.
Yeah.
So Mordred, the little punk that he is, casts the spell to banish all the adults into essentially a parallel pocket dimension of sorts. And what's funny though? If you look at this episode on the rewatch, I never thought about this. He's all uber magical and everything when he's overpowered by the amulet here. For a moment, he has like this fancy armor. He's wearing this fancy armor, and immediately we cut back from the opening and everything. It's like, well, he just ditched the armor. He doesn't wear it again.
It never comes back. Yeah, you're right.
He's wearing like this fancy point armor, which I think is like
it looks pretty good too. It's got like the black color scheme.
If I'm right, he wore something similar to that, like the pointed hat and everything in the comics. So I think that's what they're kind of doing a little homage to, which is kind of cool. I was never into like the magic kind of sect of the DC universe, so I was never really up to date on that. But I kind of saw a picture when I looked up Mordred to look into that whole parentage thing. It's like, oh, that's what it looked like. Anyway,
so Dragon, after that, we see the mother get basically Thanos snapped.
Mm-hmm. And then all the rest of the adults is we kind of see like a map.
Okay, I gotta pause here. We cut to a classroom, Dragon. What in this classroom really throws you off?
Why don't you tell the folks?
The fucking photo of George W. Bush. Dragon, what the hell?
Well, I mean, well, again, here's the thing that's funny. At one point, they never show him full on. There is a president. It is not.
I don't
Bush,
even mind. It's just bizarre to have the live action in the DC animated universe. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. It could just be like a random Joe Schmo. It'd still look out of place.
I got to admit, I'm not joking here. I never noticed the Bush thing until you brought it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I never did.
As soon as it got to this classroom, it's just like the first thing I zeroed in on.
That's weird for sure. I mean, I know they've done some stuff. Again, they've done some episodes in parallel.
It looks like something out of South Park, Dragon. Like, stylistically.
Yeah, they've done stuff in parallel to the election before, so I guess some of that bled into some of the later episodes.
What year is this?
Okay, let's see. We are in, so Justice League wraps up, I want to say in 04. We are either still in 04 or 05.
Okay, so that would be right around...
Like, we're in the middle of Bush. Like, Obama's in 08 onwards.
That would be right after he got reelected.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways.
Anywho, because again, like, when they're doing it, like, he doesn't get reelected in 04.
Yeah, 04, yeah.
That's what I'm saying, because again, like, when they were doing a better world, that's during the election.
Uh-huh.
So that was firmly in 04 anyway. Point being, all the adults disappear and we're in math class. We're at a zoo and in the theme park and everything. And meanwhile, we have...
I really do like, with the zoo thing, I like how... I like how the, we see the little girl, and it's like the first kind of indication that something's going to go wrong because the monkey's kind of freaking out in the cage. And then that little girl is ultimately going to be what kind of like saves the day in the end.
Yeah, we got a lot of mileage out of that kid.
Uh-huh.
So, anyway, so of course all the adults are wiped away, and we're in the middle of a battle with assumedly another Injustice gang. A lot of the members are from it's assumedly could just be a ragtag kind of villain team up.
It's just, you know what, I don't really, it's just kind of like a nice cold open battle. I don't really care what the context is.
No, I don't, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying they never, I don't know, I wonder if, because Copperheads, and Cheetah there, I wonder if it's an Injustice gang. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying a villain team up and robbery of some kind is going on. You have Superman.
But this was my first taste of action scenes within Justice League Unlimited. And Dragon, I mean, the shading and stuff is all really good, but I honestly think the most impressive step up in animation is just how fluid the action is, just how smooth it all is.
Yeah, the pacing's really fluid. It's really good. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like you have also, here's the other thing you should know about JLU, because again, we have so many characters that are disposed on that. You can see this on both sides, both good and bad. I mean, both good and evil.
Hi, Deadshot. At least I'm assuming that's Deadshot.
That is not Deadshot.
It's not Deadshot.
No. My point is that's KG Beast.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so my point is, you have the cameo fest to play through JLU, where you have a lot of like, if you freeze, like the diehard DC fans will know, like, oh, that's him. Hey, look, they brought him. He doesn't really say anything, but there he is.
Right.
So you have like Superman fighting Blockbuster.
I know who that is.
You have Wonder Woman versus Cheetah, who was more established, mind you. You got which first time she's fought Cheetah, majorly, outside of yeah. You got Batman versus KG Beast, and again, that's really awesome just to see KG Beast represented. Period, because he's always had like such a cool design. He pretty much looks like Bane with a gun for an arm. It's pretty cool. Anyway, of course, Batman takes him out of the Batarang really awesomely. You got Green Lantern versus Copperhead. Anyway, so then
Green Lantern sporting a goatee, which I'm a fan of. I approve of the new look.
And a shaved head, too, if you'll notice.
Indeed.
He's changed his look after the breakup. So let's see. So then
I didn't even realize Hawkgirl wasn't here.
No, yeah, it's the thing. She's, again, she was kind of, she left before she was officially fired or not from the team, but so she's left to find herself. And they go over that in JLU. Like, there's a kind of a nice little story in the background with her redemption story. But the fact is, she and GL are kind of on the outs and everything. Anyway, so GL's making a joke here. That's a wrap. I've been hanging around with the Flash too much. It's a little setup for later, where he's going to be a little bit more like the Flash when he's a kid, which is kind of nice. Anyway, so all of our guys vanish into that parallel dimension with that. Let's have how the parallel dimension looks, man. It has that creepy color scheme and everything.
It's really disquieting. It's very much kind of just like hell in the form of a little kid's disturbed drawing.
Yeah, and which again is fitting given who cast the spell.
Indeed.
So Copper, this is hysterical. So Copperhead thinks, "Oh no, it was Judgment Day, and we're in the bad place." So Green Lantern's like, "We're in the bad place." What?
I said, as opposed to the good place.
Well, unless Ted Danson's there, you'll never know for sure.
Isn't the good place technically hell or something like that? I haven't watched it.
You really got to watch that show, man. It's delightful.
I know.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah. Anyway, point being, Atomic Beast here, as Atomic Beast says, I love Copperhead Panic. It's hilarious. Yeah, so GL's like, calming him down and saying, oh, stop. Oh, relax. Just a parallel dimension. Then Batman, this thing kind of always warmed my heart here, where Batman being the detective and also just kind of showing where Batman's priorities always lie deep down. I don't see any children here. Like, Batman cares about the kids, man. It's like, there aren't any kids here. So that kind of leads to, Morgan Le Fay looping the Justice League in on what happened. Mordred betrayed her, and she can't just undo the spell because the Amulet of First Magic is very powerful, which is why he was able to cast the spell in the first place. Little loophole. Like, how the heck are the Justice League going to save the day here? Little loophole. And I love that Green Lantern, he really doesn't like magic, much like Superman. Does not care for magic here. It's like, oh, I do not like where this is going. So G already knows, like, oh, it's gonna be one of those episodes, isn't it?
All right, so we cut back to Funzyland.
Yes, so Mordred, he's turned this medieval theme park into like his kingdom, his makeshift kingdom, and he's ruling over the kids.
Yeah, I really like that this kingdom is basically like a combination. Like, it's kind of like this is the theme park nerd in me coming out, so I apologize, but it's kind of like a combination. Like, you got like a Six Flags coaster in the background, you got some like zoo elements, and then you've also got like literally just straight up Sleeping Beauty's castle, like right in the center.
Well, you know what it is to me? It feels like we took the Disney castle and we turned it into the Black Cauldron.
I could see that. I could see it's like it's kind of like the architecture of the Black Cauldron, but the color scheme of Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's leading the kids to his throne, and of course, once they leave, we have the shadow gag. Or okay, it's the Justice League, but they're kids. They're the Junior Justice League.
Oh my god! And so the designs are just like I think both designs and characterization is perfect here.
So it seems Justice League been turned into 8 to 10-year-old kids. And their personalities are reflecting their younger years. And, this Batman's like, okay, this better be temporary.
So Batman, he's basically the most, like, I don't even know how to describe him. So he's pretty much like the most kind of like the most awkward and like least self-assured of them all, which is a big character switch. Would you agree to that?
Yeah. There's the very interesting component with basically everyone else is kind of boiled down fundamentally to who they are. Where deep down, Green Lantern is a kid, with the imagination of a Green Lantern, but again, he always kind of suppressed that when he grew up. And Wonder Woman, pretty simple, just a little bit more, just younger, and Superman, a little more earnest, a little bit more like not the sophisticate that he grew up into being, a little more just a little less subtle. But yeah, Batman though, as a kid though, and again, this is the heart of the episode for me, is that deep down, Batman is that 8-year-old kid, but
Totally.
but again, it's the kid who was robbed of his childhood. So this is a really unique. So Batman can't revert back to childhood really, and that Batman's reverting back to his childhood is like a what if, those 8 years that they did have went on. That's as close as it is, and even then, he's still the tortured Batman just as a kid, and it feels like foreign territory to him because he just did not have this experience.
So it's a very interesting dynamic there because, like, really, this episode, like, in lesser hands, it could have been very easily like, oh God, dare I say it, Dragon? It could have very easily been like a Teen Titans Go affair.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what we did here ultimately
that would be like the worst case scenario, right?
The absolute worst case scenario, yeah. But yeah, so I mean, here ultimately, we humanize Batman. We kind of look at what we've always kind of had, like Batman playing really stoically. There was an inferiority in the first season of Justice.
Kind of reminds me of how we break down his character in the Lego Batman movie to a certain extent, where it's like we're doing it in a tongue-in-cheek way, but there's some real poignancy there.
Yeah. So here he's a kid with limitations who's a little jealous of his powered pals, but again, he's saying like, well, the punk's in there. Like, it's not a race. We all have to fly. It's like, yeah, Batman can't exactly pull the stunning bat exit he used to at this age. And also we have the glasses gag. So John Stewart used to wear glasses as a kid, and it's really funny. He turns like the big frames into the Kyle Rayner mask, like one of the other Green Lanterns had this really cool mask design. So he gave him like the really cool Green Lantern glasses. Anyway, so Mordred, he's using his magic essentially to serve his subjects, but he's just really bored with it because again, he's immature to be a king. He doesn't care about anybody else. So it's like,
I mean, this is kind of like the downfall of the kid that wants to be a king thing, right? It's like, like being a king pretty much implies that you're going to have a shit ton of responsibility.
Yep, because my baby sister's hungry. Just
oh my God, I laughed way harder than I should have at this gag, Dragon.
Because he materializes a
cow.
There's
just something about the timing of this. He just materializes the cow, and she's just like, "Oh, okay, then. I guess that'll do.
Guess I'll make this work somehow." When you have like the kid has his big wish and he gets action figures.
And also, Dragon, there's a freeze frame. There's a freeze frame where he runs his hand over his face, and his eyelids like droop down. It is an amazing freeze frame.
Yeah. You'd surprised how many.
This kid is super expressive.
Oh, for sure. And then, of course, someone's laughing at. Oh, look, the Justice Babies. It is Batman. We don't have Batman quipping as much. Like, Batman has quipped in the past, but usually, with a lot of bravado behind.
That's because he's very shy and reserved as a kid.
Exactly. So just Batman here is fighting back a little bit here. Just was quipping back with the whole like, "What are you laughing at, precious?" Making fun of his little pet name his mommy gave him. So let's see. And you shouldn't. And this is going to bite him.
Kept the armor. He would have looked a lot cooler.
He would have. And again, he's still wearing like a little Lord Fauntleroy outfit too.
Right.
So again, there's Mordred throws a line at him here that Batman's going to file away for later to save the day. Even pint-sized Batman, he's still thinking a few steps.
Batman will remember this.
Yep. You shouldn't send a boy to do a man's job. So he turns the kid's action figures into these.
He basically gets defeated by way of Genie Jafar.
Pretty much. So he turns the action figures of this one kid into these 4 giant colored sentry guards, and Batman has some fancy moves during this fight. Seriously, really good moves on Bat Kid here, where he fires the grappling gun, takes Mordred's throne down, and he redirects a magical blast to take out one of those 4 guys. Pretty smooth.
Yeah, I mean, like classic Batman, what he lacks in power, he makes up for in acrobatics.
Exactly.
As far as the combat goes.
Love it. So let's see. We have a very indecisive, the enthusiasm and the indecisiveness of a young Jon Stewart. It's like, oh, maybe a laser cannon. Oh, maybe a missile launcher. But just pick something. Of course, goes with the boxing glove. And now this is a call out, by the way, to Overtime in Justice League. This is kind of like a meta gag where in the first season of Justice League, one of the problems is that GL was very boring with his power. He just shot like it made bubbles and he shot laser beams.
Right.
And in season 2, when he went back to Oa for a spell, he talked to his mentor, and she said, "Man, why don't you spice up your constructs a little bit?" And then throughout season 2, he started to do that, and now basically, this season on, where he fully spices that up, and this is a big episode for him to really cut loose with. So he does the boxing glove finally, bam. Let's see, Batboy, his assistant Wonder Woman, because again, there's some Wonder Bats going on here. Oh, the Wonder Bats is so wonderful in this episode, because now it's all like...
It's pretty freaking adorable. I'm not
gonna
lie.
So Batman's trying to help Wonder Woman out.
It's like the classic Helga Pataki thing, except if Helga Pataki was nice.
Yes. Oh, by the way, I don't know if I didn't mention this. Yeah, Dakota Fanning is the voice of Wonder Woman.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I just want to get that in there. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, she was like a huge child star at the time, of course, so that makes sense. Of course, the voice of Lilo and Stitch the animated series.
Well, I don't know if that's... I know she did her in Stitch in Lilo and Stitch 2. I don't know if she did the
That might be what I'm thinking of. I think you're right. I think Devane Chase might have come back for the series.
It's so weird how that worked, though, because you're thinking, again, Dakota Fanning and Devane Chase, just for a second, it's like, we just went for another kind of D name on a little girl. And this was,
right.
It's just, I don't know, I'm pretty sure
it's like I know for a fact she played Lilo at one point, but yeah.
No, she did. That's the thing. I think it was the sequel, not the series, but I could be wrong. I don't think they'd be able to afford Dakota Fanning if it was for a whole series, Tiki.
True.
Anyway, point being,
too busy making the Cat in the Hat movie.
Oh yeah, she was that little girl in that one.
Yes, she was everywhere at this time period. Dragon, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. She not every. That was a poor.
War of the Worlds.
No, that was a better career choice. But anyway, so Batman's trying to help Wonder Woman out. He gets held by his cape, and Wonder Woman's like, "Hey, not to my Batboy, you don't." Essentially, just bam, punches the thing, crumbles, and she catches her little boyfriend. It's cute.
Mm-hmm.
And he's saying,
but then he immediately is just like, "Get off of me! I don't need saving." And she's just like, "Oh, boys."
No, she's like going, "You okay, tough guy? Let me go. I'm fine." This is the hand animation. Everything's like going all sullen.
Perfect. Like the girl has matured a little faster than the boy, and the boy doesn't get the hint. It's it's so adorable.
I know, love it.
Anyways,
all right. So Mordred, he ends up freezing them and sentences them to execution, which he sends them below to a dungeon where they
basically sends them to the Rancor pit.
Essentially, yes. And they go to the dungeon and they face Etrigan.
Danny Trejo. I'm sorry.
May I?
Yes, go ahead.
They face Etrigan the demon as a baby, kind of pre-Baby Yoda.
Right.
So
Tom Peace pre-Baby Yoda's Dragon. Baby Yoda was like the lucky one that landed, but it's like we have Baby Grinch, Baby Aladar from Dinosaur. It's, there were some attempts. Baby Groot, of course. Anyway,
yes. So we have Etrigan the Demon, and of course the idea that again that Jason Blood and Etrigan the Demon built into the Morgan Le Fay mythology, and it's the fact that this is more just a little screw you to Etrigan the Demon and Jason Blood. Like, hey, it's almost like his Norman Bates. I'm gonna get revenge on you for dating my mom.
Oh God, right.
So he turned him into a baby, just humiliating, his mother's arch nemesis. Anyway, so and of course I love this the history that Batman is friends with the ideas in the DC animated canon in a comic once, like they met each other fighting Ra's al Ghul and then they became friends ever since. That's kind of the idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, so just the idea of Batman's the friends of Jason Blood and Etrigan. I love during this whole fight you see the loyalty and the friendship kind of pay off after all those years here. It's just like don't hurt him. He's biting Superman's arm. Tell him that. And you got that's actually going to hurt Superman because Etrigan's magic. So magic does hurt Superman. So that's gonna smart. Anyway, so let's see. Anyway, so again, the baby demon, rather cute proto Baby Yoda shenanigans going on here is attacking him, about to like incinerate poor Batman. Batman blinds him with his cape. He ain't happy about that. Who's gonna save Batman? Wonder Gal. It's Wonder Woman who
No,
mommies.
that's a bad baby.
That's again, you naughty monster. He cries like, "Oh, she insulted him." And D. Bradley Baker is killing it here with the baby voices and everything. So she basically mommies the kid, and he's just crying and then comforting him. She basically fire belches him. Oh, it just Batman's like, "You gotta be kidding me." That's all he needed. It's a little loan affection. So yeah, we do a classy version of the poo joke. Here we're at the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the poo joke is such low hanging fruit when you have a baby.
Yeah, no, you're right.
A baby and a dog dragon, I am way more impressed when they just don't go for the low hanging fruit.
No, Tiki, the low hanging fruit there's like one. I think they did classy with the whole. This looks like that is Batman just passing the kid off to Superman. It looks like a job for Superman, just to kind of spite Superman. But really, the way you toe the line on the bathroom joke is when you do the classic, okay, and we're going to change the kid, you're going to do the old squirt gun gag. It's like, no, you don't. Like, that's too far. That's when we just, we don't need that. Okay, you don't need the whole
I don't know.
changing.
I just don't need bodily functions in my cartoons.
That's what I'm saying. Here was just like, we implied it. We didn't, linger on it. Anyway.
But it's demon shit. So it's like we imply something really nasty.
That is true.
That's all I'm saying, all right? It's not a pretty picture.
All right, fine. Regardless. I'm saying the worst characters we could have done it with, all right? Anyway, so after we basically placated the little demon baby who's now along for the ride, the kids, we see just kids out in the open, the kids kind of making mischief, without adult supervision,
and King Joffrey's just like, yes.
Yeah, Mordred approves. Superman comes along, and again, he's just scaring the kid straight. Like, hey, stop it. Well, you're just a kid. What are you going to do? Like, I'm the kid with laser beams coming out of his eyes.
And that, to me, is like the most Tim Daly Superman moment in the episode, I think.
And also something that adult Superman would never in a million years do, but kid Superman...
But it feels... Yeah. But, right, it still feels in character, though.
Yeah, it feels in character.
Impressive writing.
Yeah, it does, yeah. Because it's kind of a Superman PSA, but kind of an it's like an impulsive one. Like Jonathan Kent would never approve that idea.
Well, maybe Man of Steel, Jonathan.
All right, fine, Man of Steel. Not the best parent, okay? We've established this, okay?
Keep your powers hidden, son. Don't save the kids, but show them your terrifying red eyes for some reason.
I'm gonna ride this tornado, son.
God. I'm gonna ride it like Pecos Bill.
I'm gonna ride all the way to a mountain in the sequel.
Jesus.
And talk about cake, hero cake. Anyway.
Oh my God, John Campea fucking adores that movie.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Huh.
He honestly thinks it's like one of the all-time greatest superhero movies.
Well, wait, BVS or Man of Steel?
Man of Steel.
Okay, there's an argument. There's an argument for Man of Steel, but I would not.
Yeah, flips the argument. I don't know.
No, I'm saying I get. I'm not.
You know what I can't get over with Man of Steel? I can't get over the IHOP.
Come on, the IHOP's not a big deal. Come on.
I mean, that and just the fact that the finale goes on for fucking ever.
Well, that's a legit criticism versus the IHOP. Come on.
Like, it's probably the best of the Zack Snyder movies, but anyways.
Well, I mean, I think Watchmen probably better, but we don't have time to...
No, I'm saying the DC Snyder movies.
Well, yeah, what is that? What is the competition, though, Tiki? Come on.
Yeah, Snyder Cut is a solid competition.
Anyway. So the kids are being riley here. Wonder Woman calms down the kids, saying, "That's enough." Just the fact that Wonder Woman commands all the respect is just awesome here. Mm-hmm. Look, we're gonna find all your moms.
Wonder Woman is basically like the teenage babysitter to all the kids in this episode. That's kind of how I read her role.
That's a good comparison. It's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman basically calms the crowd down, saying, "That's enough. We're gonna find all your moms."
And it makes sense that she'd be slightly older than the other kids because, she's technically like thousands of years old or whatever.
Yeah, it does make sense. I mean, weird kid logic, it makes sense.
Right.
But I just love the whole the thread of and I'm gonna tell.
Yes. And that's literally the straw that breaks the camel's back, Dragon.
Yeah, just go wait outside for your parents, making sure we have a clear battlefield for later. So, of course, and this is funny. Take file this away. It's going to come back down the line. This honestly might be the penultimate thing we cover ultimately when this comes back. So file it away. So Green Lantern and Batman, they've kind of talked through. They've kind of ribbed each other for their relationships, like a little bit in Star-Crossed here, and then ultimately the penultimate thing we'll be covering on Batcave. So just the fact they kind of poke fun at each other, like you and Shire and Batman and Wonder Woman. It's just like, man, your girlfriend sure is boss. It's like the kitty version of it here. Your girlfriend sure is bossy. Shut up. All right. So let's see. Okay, so basically, behind a tree, Batman. Again, it's almost like the Scooby Doo, like we're about to build, not Scooby Doo, a pup named Scooby Doo kind of esque here. We're planning the big trap, or Batman's planning the ambush here in Green Lantern's like, maybe I can create a big old lawnmower and chew him up. Batman vetoes that plan, but then Batman initially vetoes that plan. Is drawing the plan up, and then he realizes, wait a minute, Green Lantern, go nuts! All right, just go nuts, and we'll stall. I think I'm jumping ahead with that bit, actually. The point being, like, Superman's like, no, that's stupid. And Wonder Woman is, basically, okay, we're going to split up here, almost like Fred from Scooby-Doo here. Let's split up. And Wonder Woman, she plays it all cutesy here, trying to play it cool, saying, hey, I guess
this
I'll go with...
This is definitely a pup named Scooby-Doo gag right here, Dragon. I feel like it's got to be some sort of callback, right?
I mean, a little bit. I mean,
it's very similar to how Daphne acts in that show.
I don't remember if they ever did. Do you remember them doing a cutesy kid thing with Fred and Daphne?
I'm pretty sure they did.
Because it's been forever since I've gone back.
I'd be surprised if they didn't.
Because I know they had Jenkins, where the big thing with her was that she was rich and she had Jenkins, Scooby Snack. That was the big thing they did. But I like to think you're right, because you're right, it does fit, if that is the case. So Wonder Woman, she plays it all cutesy here. It's like, well, I guess I'll go with Clark. Unless maybe I should go with you, Bruce.
Oh my god! And Bruce just could not be less interested.
Just whatever. Just again, play it like that. Now, doing it for a Batman, and you get. And again, it's very on money characterization wise. Batman absolutely would play it this way. Whatever.
It's like, even as an adult, that's pretty much Bruce's attitude towards dating.
Yeah. So again, they're gonna have fun with this coming up soon. So it's so it tracks. Just believe me, it tracks. So just like so Bruce and I good to go, like me and Diana and everything said. Then Diana just kind of says, "I changed my mind. I'll go with Bruce. You can go with Clark."
Oh my god!
And like she just grabs Bruce's arm, like dragging him off, like she's the assertive one in the relationship, and like Superman's like, What's the deal with those two? And this Green Lantern's like, for someone with like 50 different kinds of vision, you sure are blind. Cute. Very cute. Anywho. Okay, so Green Lantern, he's doing a little tweet. The plan's really simple. Like, okay, from the side, Green Lantern's going to use a pair of tweezers to get the amulet off. That's the main objective of the plan here, while he's sleeping, ideally. But then a little girl, it's like, what you pretty much Phineas and Ferb in him right now. Like, what you doing?
Pretty much, yeah.
Again, this basically like, of course, he wakes up. Mother, it's just like he just wakes up like Sid from Toy Story after everything falls. Like Mother, what? Like, get the amulets. They're all bum rushing for the amulet. He's just a little kid. Oh, this Batman not thinking his words through, unfortunately. Very poor choice of words, like the Dark Knight. So he grows giant in the green. Oh man, I hate magic. So big old.
But I mean, those words ultimately lead to the Genie Jafar defeat. So there is that.
It does fit, though. Yes. So Superman saves the little girl, which is nice. He gives Mordred a hot foot, which is awesome. His laser beams his foot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Green Lantern gives Batman a ride on like a surfboard, little Jack Kirby Silver Surfer knot. I'd like to imagine, because you get remember the Demon is a huge Jack Kirby character. So I think it's on Bruce Timm's mind when he's overseeing the episode. I like to think.
It's a shame that we didn't get a moment in this episode where one of them calls the kid a snake, and the kid's just like, "Snake, huh? Well, we'll see how snake-like I can be."
Yeah, Batman calls him a punk. Imagine if he just became like a punk rocker for a millisecond.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Anyway, so we have this is really cool. Speaking of Kirby, though, we Kirby dot some magic eyes on Mordred for a bit there. As he sticks like these stone dragons after Wonder Woman. They're flying after her. Let's see. So they all barricade themselves behind like the castle walls as they're kind of regrouping for a plan here. Batman's like shutting down some Green Lantern suggestions, but then he realizes, wait a minute, Green Lantern, never mind what I just said. Go crazy, because he needs a distraction. Like, go crazy. Throw some wacky stuff at him. Which leads to an awesome giant robot.
Oh, yeah.
And Mordred puts on some armor again. Different armor, but better armor. And he actually keeps it on this time. They're fighting.
It looks like more effective armor, but maybe not as cool looking because it doesn't have the color scheme.
Yeah, but it still looks pretty cool, though. Like, at least as a prototype of sorts.
It's got the spikes. So,
yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I dug the chainmail.
Dare I say it's very Rob Liefeld-esque?
Little bit.
With the shoulder pads with the spikes on them.
Better feet, but yes. Okay, let's see. So then you have, let's see. So essentially, Mordred, they're fighting each little fighty fight here. Then he pins Green Lantern with an axe. Like kind of this giant like axe mace sort of thing. Anyway, so it says, I wasn't trying to beat you. Then we reveal Superman while he's busy fighting Green Lantern. Superman's been tears off the amulet, and then it's kind of like a game of keep away. Very kid-like climax here. It's like playing keep away with the magic amulet, tosses it to Batman. Batman throws it awesome like a batarang to Wonder Woman, who then tosses it to Etrigan, who then bites it, destroying it. But unfortunately, a little matchstick moment here. We destroyed the amulet, but he's absorbed too much of the power, which means they still have a big problem. But then, thankfully, Batman outsmarts the kid a little Jafar magic.
Mm-hmm. So with the Jafar magic, it's basically like he argues that, you're such a good kid. Like they basically argue his effectiveness as a king.
Yeah, like this little girl from earlier, as you mentioned, little girls basically, I want my mommy, and there's Mordred's like saying, oh, you don't need a mommy. It's just. And basically, he can't handle leadership at all, and Batman calls it out here. Like, you could have been a man anytime you wanted to. All that power. Never send, what is it you said? Never send a boy to do a man's job?
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, they face it. You like being a little mama's boy. It's basically, ultimately, he takes the bait, and he makes himself older. And it's still, now it's D. Bradley Baker doing the voice of, like, older Lord Fauntleroy Mordred. I'm older than you now. And then Batman this Bat Kid just smiling here. You sure are, and you realize, you broke your own loophole here, where he vanishes into the
nominal cosmic powers.
Itty bitty living space.
How you rascal, you!
You little genius, you! All right, so Mordred has been teleported into that alternate dimension, and his powers aren't working, and he he doesn't realize. As his mother frames it, you have no idea what you've just done. Because he's done some real damage to himself, and we'll reveal at the end of the episode what exactly he's done. So all the parents, they're reunited in the theme park. We have this gag where Etrigan, like our Justice League members are turned back into adults, including Etrigan, who's like in Wonder Woman's arms, like, Mommy. It just drops him. And then, Batman's asking what happened to Mordred, and then we kind of tee up that he broke his eternal youth that his mother gave him, which means now all he has is eternal life, which, unless you have a Lazarus pit, kids, ain't going to be pretty.
So, Atomic Beast has a comment here. He says, Mordred's fate is worse than dying, at least as a ghost. I can still use my limbs, but here you'll be stuck in one place without food, TV, etc.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty damn horrifying. I mean, it's like, I think Batman the Animated Series had some pretty damn dark moments. This might be darker than any of them, Dragon. I mean, honest to God, this is some body horror shit right here.
Well, put a pin in it for a second here, because I want to talk about the emotional ending we get before we get
by all means.
So
sure.
For me, I think the best moment of the reason I was really excited to get to this one, ultimately, outside of the Wonder Bat stuff. So this moment just utterly breaks my heart in all the right ways, where Batman watches, the families being reunited, like the kids in the theme park being reunited with their parents, their moms, their fathers, the whole thing here. And Wonder Woman comes up to him and says, circumstances aside, again, being kind of the lighter side of the two of them, circumstances aside, it was kind of enjoyable being a kid again. And Kevin Conroy, the wonderful man, he brings it home saying, I haven't been a kid since I was 8 years old. And
so that right there just kind of puts into context all the stuff that Batman was kind of struggling with throughout the episode, like an emotional level. So it's like, throughout all this kind of like silly, like pup named Scooby-Doo style shenanigans, there really is a backbone and tragedy there.
It's just the tragedy of Batman is, the whole adventure is just a reminder of what he can never recapture. And that moment of seeing those families reunite, that's just the bittersweet reminder of like who he is at his core. He is that 8-year-old kid who never grew up, who basically is fighting for a world where kids won't have to lose their parents, and he ended up. Think how beautiful that is. At the end of this adventure, as silly and kind of magic-y as it was, it's like he brought kids their parents back, and that's something he can never get for himself, even if he was turned into a kid again. And that's what he fights for. That's the most beautiful thing I've seen, man. That's just gorgeous. That's just gorgeously wonderful from a writing perspective. Like, yes. And then so we have our emotionally bittersweet ending, and like Wonder Woman, I love that Wonder Woman's a little saddened by this, like, oh yeah, I forgot. And anyway, then we have the creepy ending of Morgan Le Fay. I like to think it's in the future. I like to think he didn't just rapidly age. I like to think this is just like a glimpse into the future.
Oh, I like that. I like that theory. Yeah.
Because they never say, because again, it might have caught up with him instantly when they left the dimension. Who knows? But I'd like to think.
But the fact that, like, just imagine it just like centuries in the future and he's just like to this day. Oh, that's even more haunting. Yeah.
That's what I like to think. I like to think so that it's a mother caring for her child and like just like I'm always here for you forever, essentially.
I mean, just the imagery, Dragon. The imagery is just flat out haunting, man. It's some like picture of Dorian Gray style shit here.
Mordred, practically mummified but alive, and practically like comatose, and he's just like drooling, and he's still sentient, but he's just the lights are on, but nobody's really home. And his mother's like, again, it's the full circle kind of cyclical nature of life. When you start off like a helpless baby, and you, depending on how long you live, you end up like that again. Only in this case, it's never going to end for the kid. And there's no one doing it. So again, it's the mother's duty to the son. And the fact that her whole life's mission of like making him king is now never going to happen too, which is it's kind of like a really sad fate for all parties this episode. And again, this is the fact that in JLU, the DCA just progressively got darker as it went on, kids. Where it's like, even in the lighthearted episode, we really we hit the heavy keys at the end.
Yeah, totally. All right, and so really cool with my final thoughts, Dragon. Like I said, I really do think this might be one of the best episodes that I've encountered because it has a little bit of everything. It has really great action, in no small part thanks to the upgraded animation budget. Really great characterization, especially obviously Batman. The Batman stuff is kind of like the beating heart of the episode. Really, really good comedy, and just a really fucking haunting, twisted ending. So yeah, I'm kind of in love with this.
Yep, and Tiki, just the tip of the iceberg of how good the JLU episodes are gonna get. I'll tell you that much. So just the silly episode, but fun, cute Wonder Bat stuff, and again, just again. As I said, what guts me to the core on the rewatch is that ending, man. Just proved, and ultimately, it's the episode in total is to reflect on Batman. What we do here on the show is that what it says about the Batman character is that even in an unlikely episode like this, it just really goes to show how malleable Batman is and how far we are in the DCAU canon, where it's why he works well in Justice League and the DCAU, where he's built up so much credibility through Batman the Animated Series and everything leading up to this, where you can put him in a lighthearted situation and still have the character maintain that credibility. Even, again, just uses it, and we use him as the heart, and it's kind of the straight man of the episode. Ultimately, it paid off wonderfully. The slot machine.
Totally.
Okay.
All right, what's up? What's up next?
Magic in the air for Batman and Wonder Woman. Again. Some Wonder Pig. A musical number. Can Batman defeat Cersei to save Wonder Woman? How bewitched, bothered, and bewondered will the episode get? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Batcave with this little piggy.
Shut up,
me, little piggy.